Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wizard's Table podcast. I am Ken Allen, and guess what? That chick right there is Mistress B, and she is
Hello.
not CGI. She is real.
Who thought it was CGI?
I actually, believe it or not, I actually had a few messages from people that said, "Is she real or is she CGI?" And I'm like, no.
I'm very
She's real.
real. Head
Yeah,
to
you're
toe.
exactly right. And by the way, you look beautiful tonight. Your eyes,
Thank you.
totally Egyptian, right?
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, baby. All right, so on tonight's, hey, Ginger Cornwall, how you doing, baby? On tonight's podcast, we have Bryan Lovering. Bryan Lovering is what are you?
Sorcerer.
He is a sorcerer,
Yes.
like me. Like me. He is a sorcerer, and he has many gifts, and he has so much to offer to our audience tonight. And I can't wait to just dive right in and see what's going on with him. I want to talk about herbs. I want to talk about demons. I want to talk about angels. I want to talk about gods and goddesses. And I want to talk about Hecate, Lilith, and Pazuzu, if you're cool with that, Bryan.
Absolutely. Let's have a chat.
All right, so let's do it.
Hi,
Hello,
Liz.
Liz. Hello, Liz. I want to say hello to everyone real quick. Ginger, hello. Liz, hello. Debbie Wallace, hello. So, Bryan, let me start by asking you, first of all, how did you get started in the occult?
There's a couple of different start points. So,
Hey, Lisa. Sorry, go ahead, baby.
I mean, like, how far back do you like the?
Let's go to the beginning, baby. Let's go when you first got the itch, because I know it's an itch because I got it too.
Right. So it was a day on the playground when I was, what was it, third or fourth grade? Just didn't want to like run, and I'm like, hey, can you make it like cooler? And giant windstorm came up, like bad enough to make everybody like have to go inside. So there was no more playground time. And then it was in high school. I was talking to this one gal because I didn't want to run the mile. And I'm like, do you believe in magic? She's like, yeah, I'm a witch. Like, she's my age at the time. So she taught me the basics of stuff from her. And then I wound up doing a whole bunch of different types of initiation type things over the years to get different types of magic. So it's come at a price for some of it. But some of it is accidental experiential. Like I get put in a situation and out comes new magic.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of initiative magic have you done?
So there was back in about 2004. Yeah, it was 2004. I got raped in a cemetery. And as it was trying to die, projecting into the underworld, the dude was screaming and crying. In Greek folk magic, it's a go-in, is the wailer at the graveside.
Yes.
I was already working with the spirits of the dead in the cemetery at the time. I got a real close-up and personal with the Lady of Death. Real up close and personal with her.
Let me ask one question. Which one?
Hecate.
Cool. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, her and Nox, technically. Nox.
Okay.
Lady of the Night. Then through more series of weird initiations with the spirits and things like that, there was Lucifer in that case. And then a few years later, it was working with some witches from the northeast of the U.S. They had ritual from the British Museum. They recreated for me. So in December 21st, 2012, I was able to do a ritual that was prepared for the Egyptian high priests to enter into Duat to meet the Nechu while you're still alive, to get your Ren. Everything was prepared properly. The beer for the offering, the candles, the arrays, everything done. So I was able to connect to the Egyptian gods, all the Egyptian pantheon. And then intermixed throughout that, it was the demons kept me safe from this guy who was a hitman for the Greek mob.
Okay.
Made
Wow.
him scared of me. So channeling up the Clipoth, walking the Clipoth for 13 years has been
Awesome.
a weird as fuck journey. But I'm not, it's like when I talk about demons, it's like they're friends. They kept me alive. I wouldn't be here with not for what they set up, right?
Right.
So I come at it from a different way. It's like they're not evil. They're just misunderstood.
Absolutely,
They're there to
100%.
get you out of shit if you're in it.
100%, Brian.
And
I
to
work
put
with
you in some shit if you need to.
right. I work with demons too, and you're 100% correct. Absolutely, they are completely misunderstood.
Yeah.
Go ahead, baby.
So I mean, it's like, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like if you've got a demon that you're conjuring up because you have a thing that's relating you to that thing, it'll get you out of it. But I also trained with this really crazy guy with the vampire magic, and then shit with like witches and just fucking all over, like different types of magic. So it's like alchemy, hoodoo, witchcraft, like all sorts of fun stuff. What's up, Liz?
Liz is a wonderful, wonderful person. She lives in Scotland.
Very cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Liz is amazing. We love her.
A lot of ancient history there for sure. So,
That's fantastic.
okay. So, demons. All right.
Yeah.
Everybody who watches the Wizard's Table knows where I stand with regards to demons. What has been your experience with working with the demonic?
There's a couple of different ways I'd approach that. One, there's the critters that are listed in the books.
Right.
Those are, as best as I can find, would be what people nowadays would consider to be an alien. Otherwise, it is a jinn, beings that live slightly out of phase with our reality, but still connected to it. In Taoist magic, they have the star stepping magic, the ability to move your consciousness and the energies from one plane to another, literally one star system to another. So that's generally the attachment of spirits from those. Then there's the people that are too raw, that lose their sense of self in something, and they die a violent way, and they become overly attached to an emotion, and then they become an embodiment of that. Like it just like fries their neurocircuits, and they just embody that energy. And so they become like a demon, but they aren't technically what's like listed in the Goetia and shit like that.
Right.
And, and then there's the artificial ones that people make.
Such as servitors.
Exactly.
Have you created servitors?
I have. And I've actually done a version of one using a brass vessel.
Really?
For those of us who don't know, can you explain a little bit more about what a servitor is and what their purpose would be?
So if you're familiar with Vodou, right? You have the guardian Loa, the house spirit. Okay? You make one. And then you send it out to do your errands. You pay it, you imbue it with energy of the dead, you attach things to, and you build a construct. They do this a lot in Palo when they go to the graveside and they make a pact with the spirit. They take the spirit and they put it in the work, and then the work is performed by that spirit. That's how they find those in nature. Artificially creating one is you return life to the ingredients that you're using.
Okay.
So in the same kind of way that the Tibetan egregore is made, where you, like the Henry experiment, if you study paranormal history, they made a ghost using psychic imprints. Like it had its own behaviors, it had its own functions, it could levitate shit in a small area, stuff like that. It's a lot like that, mixed with grave dirt and all of the ingredients to, what's the best way to put it? Make something that otherwise wouldn't exist. So it's like you're calling on something that doesn't exist in this plane, so you have to make it exist. And so you have to crack into pandemonium. You have to crack into chaos. And then you can give it a never born soul, it becomes a born soul by being born through your work, and therefore anything your work is attached to, that spirit then will incarnate down that mortal line if you're doing it for clients.
And you are the master of that, yes?
Yeah, I do that
Yeah.
quite a lot.
Love it.
Quite a lot. Most of all my spells actually end up being somewhat semi-sentient.
Hey, Laura. Hey, baby.
So, yeah, that's the fun part.
So you have a book. I've heard that it took you 10 years to write your book.
Yeah.
What did that process look like for you? Why did it take you 10 years? Not to throw you under the bus, but
Oh yeah, no. I call it Big Red. It's the Grimoire of Arts. So this thing is something that I compiled from helping people, chat rooms a lot back in the day with AOL, right? Forum posting, testing spells, creating my own spells, doing spells for other people. After so long, I had a few hundred of them laying around, and it's like I was really transient at the time, and I didn't want to lose my information. So I put it all in a PDF and put the PDF onto Amazon where I could buy it so I didn't lose my research.
Oh, well, that works.
Right.
So it was a 10-year compilation project that was built from conversations. It was built from my inclusion of those conversations. So it was just my side of the perspective. So like there's shit in there for like the Rite of Transformation, all the Sumerian gate openings. It's got weddings, funerals, exorcisms I've done. Like it's a big bag of party tricks.
So you are obviously very familiar with the Sumerian gods.
Yes, sir.
And the Sumerian gods obviously, became demons.
Right.
So what is your opinion? I know I'm just skipping ahead. That's okay.
Oh yeah, no, go.
Lilith.
Interesting intelligence.
Absolutely.
So in the Grimoire of Arts, the Big Red, it was a new moon in October. No, scratch that. Yeah. New moon in October. I did this ritual to enter the house of Az. Az is the Lilith current. So that's where I got the crazy vampire magic shit from. Sexual predatory stuff, like feeding of energy through sex, being able to use sexual magic, being able to use the physical contact in a different kind of way. So they can physically lay on hands or pull energy out with those techniques. But yeah, definitely an entity, definitely very familiar. Like, she's a badass.
For sure.
Yeah, like
for sure. I work with Pazuzu.
Okay.
Do you?
No.
Any particular reason why?
Yes. Because when it comes to working with those, getting away from the dude that introduced me to Clipothic magic, because he claimed to be the embodiment of Lucifer in flesh. Girl. It was a boy. I shit you not. It was a boy named Angel in Denver who kept me safe.
Interesting. Okay.
His basement apartment had the entire Greek pantheon in it, including the Titans and the monsters.
Wow.
I have never in my life experienced a visitation from an entity like what happened when I was there with him. He was calling down Aphrodite's energy as a devotee, not a priest, because the priests have to lose their balls. He was very specific about that. He used to do it as a Greek. The whole room, like if you were looking at it in meditation, the whole room lit up gold and you could see everything. And then I was walking into the kitchen, and behind my right ear, there was a statue, and it said, "You belong to me now." That shit I've belonged to since. That would be Themis, the Titan of natural law, like nature's order. So anything that's attached to nature and any of the things she's attached to, that's where I've gone, and I don't get to get off that leash very often. So it's like, nope, you're on a leash. All right. I can
it happens to the best of us.
Right.
Work with nature's law, in tandem with it instead of against it,
That's where I'll just be honest. That's where I'm a bad boy, because I like to work against it. B, it's true, right?
You
Oh,
know,
I know. I'm well aware.
Because I want what I want, so I work against it, but that's okay,
but see,
not
here's the funny part. If you want what you want and you're doing it right, that's still in accordance with nature because that's in your nature.
well, you know what? That's true because when I want what I want, my want comes to fruition.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
You are right in tandem with nature, my friend. Sorry to burst your bubble.
No, you didn't burst it, baby. You just blew it out of one of those little wedding.
Yay,
Right.
the party.
Ken needs a grounding. Oh, no, baby. I don't need to be grounded.
No, I agree. I think you need a grounding, a spanking, the timeout corner, the whole nine.
See, and this is why you're called Mistress B, right? Like,
BDSM, right? Mistress B.
Absolutely.
that's fantastic.
Chains, whips, and all things magical. That's what you come to me for.
That is fantastic.
So
Yeah,
speaking of all things magical, what is your favorite type of magic to do? There's so many out there and there's so much ritual and rigmarole around it. So, you can go from the simple to the complex. You can work with a variety of materials. What is your sort of preferred wheelhouse?
Alchemical witchcraft.
Ah,
So
Okay.
I've got these bad boys I make.
Ooh.
So in here is all the ancient ingredients for all the things associated with this particular zodiac sign. It's animal, it's metal, it's mineral, it's herb, some blood, stones. Even one of them's even got the liquid mercury in it, depending on which one it's for. So all of those and the planetary ones that do the same. These guys allow me not to have to worry about what time of year it is, what time of day it is, what type of planet it is. I can just artificially create the anchors, run the energy through the node points, and I can create as I need to, whenever I need to.
That's awesome.
So
for sure. Yeah.
It saves time.
Yeah.
So it allows me to compress the singularity, so to speak.
Yeah. I like magic. I like shortcuts in magic. I don't like, yeah, I do come from a long line of magical practitioners, Sicilian side, my mother, her mother, et cetera, and so on and so forth. But it's like the ceremonies, Goetia, for example, the Solomonic ceremonies. It's like, all right, that's cool and all, but it's really hard to find a virgin this and a virgin that and a virgin this in 2021,
Right?
because, well, virgins are obsolete. So,
Yeah. The jars are fun. Those are spendy though. Like the astrological ones in parts alone cost like $2,500.
Jesus.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a lot.
And I've got them down myopically. So you ever work with like the 4 doors? Is a concept in Taoist magic, the ghost door, human door, heaven and earth. So
I haven't.
made little jars that correspond to each of the planets under each of the 4 states, so that it can create like the spiral of creation. So if you can line them up in a spiral on your altar space or whatever it is you're doing, you can use the crystals to contain the energy within it. And then you can put shit like the Priscilli blue stones, which is the same thing Stonehenge is made out of, and basically pull it through the earth out of the Stonehenge and into that space.
Let me ask
I
you.
gotta come see some of this shit. This is
Right.
awesome.
Let me ask you about Goetia.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on working Goetia, traditional Goetia, from like the Lemegeton and things of that nature?
I think it was a good idea, but it's too stuffy.
Absolutely.
Like the spirits, yes, but there's things about those that I figured out I can't say that it's like, oh my God, I'm the only one that knows this. But for my work, doing stuff alchemically through lettering and the planets and the clip off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every letter is an ingredient as well as it is a sound. Every ingredient corresponds to a recipe. The names of the spirits in the books are recipes to bring out the incense, to bring out the smoke, to bring out the spirit of the thing. So when you're using something like the Goetia, its name is more important than what time of year it is, what time of planet it is, all of that other shit. The shape that it generates is like, 4D bind room. Instead of it being flat on the surface, it's like a 4-dimensional space. It's got the length, width where it comes, the time in which it'll come, and the action that it'll do in that time. So using those in the space on top of the altar, with the sigils and everything on a flat surface, you basically have to get the energy up and into motion. And being stoned or being drunk or being any of the corrupting influences diminishes your capacity to do that.
Absolutely.
Just purifying your body before you tackle on crazy like time magic shit to deal with jinn. Like, you can. You don't need to, but you can.
Do you ever work with the jinn?
Not if I can't help it.
Why
Really?
is that?
Yeah. So a few years back in the ATR and Palo community,
Okay.
it was a really bad bunch of folks that came to me because they were getting fucked up by jinn. Because there were people who were conjuring them without knowing the rituals of conjuring.
Yeah.
So a friend of mine here in San Diego, she doesn't work at the Botanica anymore, but she had her family from Pakistan. And so she would bring into the country stuff called Jawi and Hamal, and Fasuk. So I've used the Fasuk for the summoning of the white jinn, the black jinn for the Fasuk, I believe. It is the red jinn is the red Jawi, but that one comes up out of Turkey, which is hard as shit to get. The black Jawi, and it's basically the white and black benzoids. So if you've got all 3 colors of the benzoids, you can summon them up. But the stuff called Harmal, Syrian Rue, is the shit that she told me runs everything off. And so I've had to do more exorcisms of jinn instead of more summonings of them.
Well, it's interesting because some people have, and angels are real, demons are real, jinn are real. I do believe that the jinn and demons are 2 totally different entities. Mm-hmm. Some people have guardian angels, some people have guardian demons, some people have guardian jinn.
Right.
I've had a jinn with me since I was about 5 years old as a guardian. Yeah, he is pretty fucking dark, bro. Mistress B can attest to that as well. She's felt his presence, but I've had nothing but the best experiences with being in the presence of the jinn. It's intense. It's insane. It's a whirlwind, but it's been beautiful at the same time.
I think that's specific to you because that's exactly how I describe you to other people. It's intense, insane, and beautiful.
But see, that's what's so cool about this conversation, though, Ken, is because that, again, it goes to show you the right way to do demonics and spirit work and jinn work and all those things is because you didn't seek it out. You had it naturally.
That's right.
You're not artificially pulling them out of place. It's in place where it needs to be with you. The people I have a problem with is the motherfuckers that get up on Facebook and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to do a jinn summoning today." Like,
exactly.
Like,
thank you,
bro,
thank you, Bryan. Thank you. Yeah.
So, like the way you do it, absolutely. Like my buddy, he's training with an imam and he's summoning the jinn the right way, doing the altars for it. He says it's equally as beautiful. Like, I'm sure it's beautiful. That is not my department. That is just not my department. I don't
go out of my way, Bryan, to summon him. He's just always there. Even when I work with goetic spirits, but excuse me, when I work with goetic spirits, I do it in more of a demonolatry context. But nonetheless, that jinn is always there saying, "Okay, you need to watch out for this one, or this one, or that one." Okay, where are you at? Where are you at regarding demonolatry?
I don't play with the demonolatry stuff very often.
Okay.
Like, when I had my time in jail, I got to meet the spirit of Lucifer.
Okay.
And that was one of the most intense non-sexual sexual expressions I've ever felt. It's all major energy points all at once merging entirely in another energy that's bigger and badder ass than you are. And then what it leaves behind is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't deal with spirits like normal people deal with spirits. Like I go into a place, I have to put up a boundary so they don't run off, so I can figure out what the fuck is there, so then I can get rid of it properly.
Right, right.
Like this is what I did when I was doing paranormal investigations with the Association of Paranormal Studies, Alex Matsuo's team. So when she was based out of San Diego, we went to do some client work, and that's exactly what I had to do, is just protect the house from the shit that they wanted. But the way that it went down was weird. Like just the whole situation was weird. But again, that's what happens when spirits are stuck in a contained space.
Logan Hellspine says, Ashe, Ashe, merci beaucoup, Papa Legba. All right.
What's up, buddy? Yeah, it's fun though. The folks I get up to working with are usually pro magicians. So like Keith Swift and some other people. They usually,
yeah.
They usually give me a call to do entity extraction for them. So when they can't get rid of something, I'm usually the one they get a hold of, and I do remote extractions for the houses, people, things like that's my favorite thing to do is like a remote exorcism. You don't have to be in the shit, and you just like
It's interesting because I did that for a friend of mine who lives in actually it wasn't an exorcism, but she lives in Ireland, right outside Dublin.
Neat.
And I had to do soul retrieval. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She was she was in the hospital, sepsis.
Oh no.
And yeah, it was bad. It was very bad. So I had to do soul retrieval here in North Florida from Ireland. And anyway, I found her ancestor who had the soul, and it was interesting because he had it in a horn, like a drinking horn, Viking drinking horn. Okay. Her ancestors are Norwegian and Celt. And I went into this thing. I had no idea who her ancestors were. But I got into an altered state of consciousness using a hand drum, beating it at 220 beats per minute, which puts your brain into that theta state and allows you to travel outside of yourself. And I met with her ancestor. It was at a tavern, actually. And he looked at me, he's like, who the fuck are you? Maybe not in a Southern accent, but, you know. And I told him who I was and so on and so forth. And he was like, all right, well, here it is. And also at the time, I didn't know she was an Aries. And he gave it to me, and it was in a ram's horn. And so I sent it back to her. I faced the east and sent it back to her in Ireland. So I did remote soul retrieval, and it was very successful. And she's been amazing ever since. So yeah, that's a thing, bro. That's a thing.
Yeah, I love doing it. I love remote work because it's like if somebody's in the shit and it's an emergency situation, then to be able to pull it out or deal with it regardless of distance.
Yeah.
You know, like that's my shtick. Like that's my favorite stuff is to do whatever it is that I need to do from like here. Like I can the cauldron.
Yeah,
like,
because
everything.
You know, time and distance is not a factor at all. So
right.
Bryan, so I know that you said you like to do a lot of remote work. So obviously some sort of technology is used. What do you think technology's effect on magic has been, positive or negative or both?
Great question.
So I don't like technology.
Okay.
In fact, I quite hate it. The reason is because the way that I've found that the energy works with me, anyway, and I can't speak to others, is I'm conjuring something, and then in the back of my head, I can feel like the Wi-Fi. I can like those random thoughts of like, oh, I want a piece of chicken out of nowhere is like the Wi-Fi signal being vibrated off for some fucking advertisement because it's connecting to my computer in another room or something. Just fucking hate that shit.
Yeah, right.
So computers and tech is just an alchemical device. So it allows the computer to interact with things called a server, and energy flows along it. We are a generator of energy that connects to the computers. And so you can have like literal battles with energy and shit over the internet. Back in the day of early AOL chat rooms, when those were a thing, that was huge in the vampire community. Fucking huge. So psychics would glow. You could actually like almost see the color of their screen names glowing different colors. Like this one's green, this one's red, this one's yellow, this one's blue. Like, and that was how you could identify who was what. And then you could generally have a conversation around that. So it facilitates knowing who's on the other side, but it also leaves you open to who's on what's on the other side. So it attaching to you and the energy and the things that you're bringing in, especially if you're dealing with extra planar shit. It's not, hi Sandy. It's not something that I would definitely wish that would continue. Like there needs to be like a magic safe zone away from tech. Like,
how do you feel with it in regards to the spreading of information?
Oh, I love it.
Especially about the magical community.
There needs to be more mentors out there. There needs to be more people that are actually willing to talk about the real shit instead of the bullshit that's on like Witch Talk or like whatever shit is going on today.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention is Witch Talk, how you feel about stuff like that, because I've seen so much misinformation and so much bullshit, to be honest, on there.
Yeah.
Never set foot in it, so I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Oh,
I know it exists. I know it exists. So like, yeah, it's like I've heard it's like the bad version of Reddit. Like
It is. It's 1 minute segments of people saying, oh, all you have to do is XYZ, when there's so much more that goes into everything that they talk about. Things like pendulum reading, candle magic, luck spells. I've seen a lot on voodoo. I've seen them on like how to make poppets, which, oh my God, it burns me up because there's so much more to making poppets and they can be so dangerous if you don't know what you're doing.
Absolutely.
See, and that's a department that I know very little about. This is why I love interacting with other magicians, is like the puppet thing. Like if you're going to talk about a puppet and how to do it, you could do it with like 5 to 10 minutes of, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like the time constraints, like they're trying to make it so that you can't deliver right information. Like they're trying to make it like stupid. It baffles me. Like if they could like set the timer higher, then someone like you could go and give real information. You know?
Yeah. I wish they had like a magical version of TED Talks.
That would be epic, and we need to build that. Like I'm down for like working.
Yeah, let's do that shit, baby.
Hell
Perfect.
yeah.
That'll be our 2022 goal, is magical TED Talks.
Magical TED Talk. Girl, you are a trip.
That would be so much fun. Oh my God, that would be fun.
It would be great though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Bryan, do you ever actually work with demonic entities ever at all in any capacity? I don't care what it is.
Do I work with demons? I don't consider them demons.
Okay. I like that. I like that.
It's not, they're fae. They're not demons.
Okay.
Yeah, they're the intelligences of like the rocks, the stones, the trees,
they're primordial.
Exactly. They don't have a form specifically.
That's exactly my feeling, is that demons are primordial entities. They are the embodiment of the mountain, the fire, the glacier, the lightning, the thunderstorm, the winter storm, etc., etc.
Exactly. Like you've got King Urias is the king of the east wind. You got King Boreas is the king of the north wind. Like it's working with those entities, those intelligences. Is like if I raise my hand up on a hot day, off comes the wind. Like,
right.
Make it rain. Okay. Like that was one of the things I was doing that shit in 10th grade. That's how I got like made friends with this other sorcerer. He's like, I hear you do magic. Show me. Made it rain on fucking lunch break.
You know, it's funny because when I was in high school, you know, yeah, I'm 46 now, but I was actually a good looking guy back in my day. But when I was in high school, I always had this phobia about dressing out for PE. I didn't want to go in the locker room with the other guys. I didn't want them to see what I looked like, you know, in just underwear or whatever. So I would take my backpack and I would enchant it. I would put a rock in my backpack and I would enchant it. So they would not just basically so they wouldn't fuck with me. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. I don't know why I was like that, but I was. And it worked. It worked. And let me tell you what I did. I used the chaos method because the foundation of a lot of my magic is chaos magic. Okay, you remember the movie Excalibur that came out in like 80, I don't fucking know, 81?
Yes.
Okay, remember, and this is actually an ancient druid spell, but nobody really knows what it means. A lot of Joshua Free, a lot of those people, they put their interpretation on this. Anal nathrach utvas spethid dochiel diente. Remember?
Yes.
Okay, so I would enchant those stones in my backpack by saying Anal nathrach utvas spethid dochiel diente. Dochiel diente. I'd say it like 4 or 5 times, that last part. Dochiel diente. And I wouldn't dress out. The PE teacher, her name was Coach Knight. She was a fucking battle axe, bro. She was a fucking battle axe. Oddly enough, she wasn't a lesbian though. But she was a battle axe. Nobody ever said anything about me not dressing out after I would do that shit. And it was like, oh my God, I was doing chaos magic in high school, you
That's so
know?
awesome. Oh my God, that is so awesome.
So I didn't have to dress out. I didn't have to dress out. I was always very shy about that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But speaking of chaos magic, where are you at on that? Because I
Oh,
know yeah, I've watched a few of your videos, and you brought up chaos magic a time or two or whatever, and I think chaos magic is very valid, and I think it gets a bad rap.
yeah, it does get a bad rap because you've got half cocked, fried drunks, drug addicts, and all sorts of other people fucking around with it. Have you ever heard of the Ellis sigil?
Yes, I have. I know.
The
Yep,
Chaos Magic
yep.
Linking spell.
Yes, yes.
The DKMU collective manufactured 8 chaos gods in a book they called the Liber Sigillum.
Okay.
It has various ways to interact with the linking sigil where you pull energy out of it, you can put energy in it, and you can do whatever you want to with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a corrupted network because so many people are playing with it. So when you have, hey, Robert,
Hey,
a
Robert.
lot of folks screwing around with that type of energy, it does weirder things than you want it to. So I tend not to use like typical chaos stuff, but yeah,
Okay.
I do hang out in like the DKMU threads and stuff like that. Peter Carroll's work of the Liberdal and Psychonaut
Yes.
and his Octavo, the Sorcerer Scientist Grimoire are 2 of my favorite books to deal with because there is a concept that Carroll came up with in the Octavo. And it's okay. So what if all the fantasy stories that we have are some planet somewhere where light moves at a slower rate than what light moves at on our planet here because of where we are located in the universal spectrum. So the Discworld could be real. The universe of hitchhikers could be real.
Terry Pratchett, yeah.
All of those places could technically be real. So you pull from the phantasmagoria, you bring them into your workspace. I've got a dictionary of imaginary places you can use as fodder for changing the land, changing the space, changing anchors, changing behaviors. So it allows for more of a loose interpretation of what magic and energy and shit like runs. You know, it's like because in Terry Pratchett's Discworld series, death is an embodiment of a consciousness. It has a body, it has a form, it has a behavior. On our planet, it's an energy. It's Santa Muerte. It's the Baron. It's Anubis. It's fucking death gods. Like,
yeah, right. Chthonic.
Depending on where you're at, depending on how much light moves, depending on how much magic moves, whatever it is that's the foundation of our reality, depending on where we're at when we're expressing it, that's where it's at. Like that's the plane, that's the dimension, that's the reality bubble you're in when you create the ritual chamber space.
So basically, yes, you agree with me.
Yeah. All right. I told you, fucking nerd, big nerd.
I am too, though, bro. I am too. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh god, man, so much fun, so much fun.
If you could only do one sort of magical act or spell for the rest of your life, like all of your powers, all of your knowledge somehow got stripped, you couldn't get it back, and you were left with one, what would it be and why?
Well, see, years ago I thought of that eventuality.
Oh,
Funny enough. How I dealt with it is two ways. One is the rite of transformation. Two is the rite of restoration.
okay.
So there is a spell in the Big Red. It's called the Transference of Power. It binds your magic to the words that you speak. So if you speak a word, you can bring it back.
Hmm.
But if that was off the table,
Then the rite of transformation, because it allows you entry into the house of Lilith and you get friends with her and those energies.
So
Perfect.
you like her then?
Like is a strong word.
You know, it's funny because I work part-time for the Department of Corrections,
Okay.
and and there's a probation officer there. He tells me everything. He tells me all the gossip he hates of the other probation officers. He tells me all kind of shit. You know, and he said, and they recently got a new boss at this probation officer. I mean, at this probation office. And I said, so how do you like the new boss? He's like, is he okay? Do you like him? He's like, Ken, like is too strong of a word. They tell me everything. Dude, I've been working at this place for almost 20 years, and I know more about who comes and goes and about the probation officers than the probation officers themselves. And it's insane. But he's like, yep, like is too strong of a word.
So what would be the operative word?
Yeah, good question.
Necessary.
Okay.
Okay.
Because you can't deny the dark feminine, right?
No.
But there's
That's
also
where I thrive.
right.
Yeah. Hela, Hecate, Lilith, I mean, Tiamat, so on and so forth. Yeah.
Right. Those are the Iami, and Palo it's called Iami. It's the divine mothers, is the ancestral primordial feminine forces, right? But that's not been my experience with those energies. Like it's all my stuff is mostly male based. Like
Okay.
very little feminine. Like I met Nox once,
Oh.
saw Aphrodite once. Everything else. Oh my God, that would be so much fun, Liz. That would
Right.
be fun.
Amen, Liz. We love you, baby.
I would absolutely love to get the shit out of the yes. But I don't find it to be an energy that I'm happy with working with, because it seems like you have a feminine capacity for creation, and guys are not like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I don't have a right to do any of that. Like I'll enter the house of Lilith. I'll do the demonic work. I will do the parasitic sexual feeding and things like that, right? But it's just, there is a level of no that's like, that is not my department. Like I am too much of a guy for that. Like I can't. Like it doesn't work. So getting close to that proximity where it's the energetic vampirism, the blood magic would be the thing that I would do. Like the power of me being alive through blood and what I could get blood to do and reanimate things, reawaken its life spirit. Like that's what I would stick with if I had only had one opportunity, is to get the blood to behave properly.
DNA is a big part of what you do. Yes,
it is. Yeah. Walking the ancestral ladder using other things and intelligences.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know how far out I can go on that limb, but yes. There is some weird shit that exists.
So tell us a little bit more about your book. What can people find in there?
Let's see. So there's the one that for the QR code that's on the front of this, which is the little one. This one is the freebie, and that has all of the stuff for the concept of the Academy of Sorcery in there. That's like how to structure spells. It's like how to place yourself in the celestial tables, so that way you can actually work the stuff that's in Big Red. But this big one, man, it's got like the Rite of Transformation in it, the Rite of Transference in there. It's got a few different types of summoning spells that I actually have used quite successfully. So, like I said about not wanting to work with the djinn, doesn't mean I didn't. So in it, I have at least my respectful invitation, I'll call it, to bring them in. There is the Ring of the Red Queen, which is you bless a stone under the House of Lilith. And so that anybody who wears it is more attractive, or is the dark feminine, is the parasitic love and that sort of energy feeding sort of thing. Elemental magic, mostly gate spells. It's got all of the mechanics to open up the planes to different planets and places and shit like that. So it's like the kitchen sink for anybody who's not able to work normal magic.
Interesting.
So folk magic. Let's talk a little bit about folk magic. Folk magic is great. For most people, it's simple, but it's very, very powerful stuff. And it's overlooked a lot. Most people think you have to do these extreme, elaborate rituals with a goblet that looks like this.
Ooh, fabulous.
And hang on a second. And a dagger that looks like this. You know. But folk magic is simple. All you need is a candle and an intention. Right, Bryan?
Absolutely. It was really fun. I was doing a workshop last week on doing a candle spell. You can use the basics of the candle spell, right? Like just roll the candle in herbs, you awaken it, make it magic. But to be fair, I only started getting into folk magic because of the hoodoo community, and my work with Keith is because, he's been exploring his ancestry through the family lines. And so he did this rope magic course. Rope magic, who fucking knew? That shit is insane.
Oh yeah.
And then you think about it like knots. Then all your clothes are magic. Every stitch in your clothing is magic.
Absolutely.
And then it's a holy fuck moment. Like, holy fuck. Like, so I'm still getting my feet wet with that, because I'm usually in the ancient Sumerian, Babylonian, like clay tablets and like shit, like bones. But no, like there's the Red Church is a book of the powwow magic that I'm working through, or Keith's got a friend of his who wrote the Trolldom book, who he's learning from.
I love Trolldom.
Oh yeah,
I fucking love Trolldom, baby.
Yeah, he's connected to the author on that one. So it's like, he's studying with that guy. So I'm getting like little bits of like what is supposed to be like real Norse magic.
Right.
And I say real quote unquote because it's the Samae people.
Yeah.
So it's a different flavor that I get in with him and with those folks, because it is family lineage as well as folk magic. So it's not like just picking up a book of Trolldom and using it. I'm getting it from somebody whose line is attached to it directly.
You're talking about Johannes something, yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. So he knows him. He knows that family. Like that's scary. Like outside of like, I need to know more before I start fucking around with some of that shit. But I love it. Like the things I've seen him do with an onion, like onions are scary.
Yes, you know what? Onions are amazing, especially when you get into hoodoo folk magic. There is so much you can do with an onion, especially with regards to cleansing a place, burning the skin of an onion to get rid of negative energies, residual energy, which is I have come to find that removing residual energy, because it's not intelligent, is some of the hardest fucking energy to get rid of, Bryan. Because it's not intelligent. It doesn't respond to commands. It doesn't even know you're there, but burning onion peels, the onion skins, whatever, that's some great shit. And of course, wrapping an onion in red cloth, velvet cloth, whatever, flannel, and sticking a certain amount, without going into great detail, sticking a certain amount of pins in it, and praying your intention over the onion talisman. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
So yeah, you know,
Yep. Yep.
baby.
And that's why it's like I have a healthy respect for folk magic. I love me some.
I love magic.
Jack balls are a thing. Like the witch's bird rolled with wax with all the peppers and nails and shit like that. You throw into somebody's yard and it'll fuck them up. Like little mini bad luck grenades. Don't actually make those people. There's like PSA, like don't do it.
Well, and that's the thing I like about a lot of or a certain amount of demonolatry is you can work with it in a folk magic context and still interact with these entities and have them push your magic, push your energy. They're not doing the magic for you. They're just enhancing what you're what you put out there. So
see, that's fun because like that's how I see when. Like I said, it's all by proxy with this stuff because I can't, being gay, I'm not allowed to go into Palo. I'm not allowed to go into voodoo and like.
That's bullshit, dude, because I practice voodoo. That's my religious practice. I don't talk about it a lot on here.
Voodoo is different. Palo is very specific.
I don't know. I admittedly, I don't know anything about that. So
yeah, no, that's he's in an unbroken lineage of 400 years come off the slave boats.
Okay.
Like, unbroken line of African magic. He's got the cauldron, the Nganga. He is Tata Nganga, so he's got the ashes of the ancestors inside his skin, so he walks with the graves inside.
Yeah, see, I don't know anything about that. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's that initiation only because you carry these ancestors literally inside you from the Godfather's cauldron. Like, it's lineage.
All right, let me take a question here from Logan Hellspine. First of all, Logan, I love you. You're great, and you're cool, and you're cute. Logan says, Bryan, have you worked in the astral much?
Yes. Yes, as a matter of fact, both of those. Fun fact, the Greeks came up with 9 different kinds of dreams. So depending on what you want to do, there's the allegorical and then there's the metaphorical, right? There's the prophetic and then there's the it's just a dream. Chances are it's still just not a dream. But yeah, that's one of my favorites.
I had an interesting dream last night. I'd love to hear your take on it. I was in a large house and every single room was being overtaken by giant caterpillars. And I'm talking thousands of them. Any insight on that?
So I don't know how much you know of the hive mind. You say, what's your primary practice, Mr. Spee? Like, what would you say that would be your go-to energy if you only had that one energy?
Pretty eclectic, to be honest. I am still really young in my practice, so it's all pretty eclectic. I couldn't really give you one sort of energy.
Okay, because the way that I would explain that is you were experiencing you that's existing in a secondary dimension space in our concurrent reality. Like we are our dreams on an entirely different dimension for the duration of the dreams. So you were on a planet that was being overrun by literal things and you woke up when you died.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
So you lived on that temporarily in the subconscious mind of whatever being that you were inhabiting that died on that planet under those conditions. That's how I would describe it. Like it's you as you know you, but in a body that is not your own. It's in a body that would be your own if it was on that planet in that space in that dimension.
Do you think that was a positive experience, a negative experience, or just one of those like alternate experiences that you can take or leave with a grain of salt?
Take it or leave it, because unless you can channel the giant scary things, like unless you can make them manifest here or like send them at your enemies or do something useful with it, that's the thing, is like it's a viable place for you to conjure nightmares. So in shadow magic, you can walk the path of nightmares. You can conjure up somebody's greatest fears. You bring them out, but you also have to know what you're scared of. Yeah. So you are in a place where you're learning the shadow work and learning how to deal with the dark magics. You're going to be put in situations where you will learn that viscerally. You will experience death. You will experience death of self. You will experience like all of the bad shit, right?
Mhm.
So as you go through that, your dreaming body is going to take on some of the damage from that also. So as you die, get reborn, like your waking body here allows you to rebuild your spirit until you go to sleep again, and then you get to go have another plane, another dream, another creator experience. Would be how.
So in a way, having a lot of nightmares is just me going through my magical journey and experiencing things and getting stronger.
Yep.
Fun. That helps me a lot because most of my dreams are horrific.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
baby.
that sucks so much.
Yeah.
Sucks
Yeah.
so much. But yeah,
Bryan, let me ask you a question. I'm not like Mistress B. I just be asking shit out random because I don't
Perfect.
care. You know, she's got her shit together. I don't. Paranormal investigators. What is your opinion on paranormal investigators going into a home that's haunted with human spirits and or non-human spirits, you know, and trying to help? Come on, baby. I know you got an opinion, girl.
I got a lot of opinions.
Well, go for it. It's a wizard's table. Say what you want.
All right. So I did work for the Association of Paranormal Studies, which
Right.
is a paranormal investigation group. I have been asked a couple of times to help them out with when they get in over their head. By and large, the way like Alex Matsuo runs hers, she's about the history. She is about the understanding of what's going on, who's there, and what they want, or what their life story was, right? Like what their attachments were.
Mm-hmm.
She is not about releasing them. She is not about seeing that the energies are restored to a pure state. She is not about letting the story just become a story and letting everybody go back. She wants to like. She would get upset with you if you were an exorcist and you got her ghost in her haunted house.
Right.
I am again making profit off the dead.
Yes.
In that capacity.
Mhm.
I want a haunted house because nobody will live in it, and I want to make friends with it. And if they want to stay here, they can stay. If not, they can go. But I don't agree with them going in there and riling shit up for no good reason, or to try to be an asshole about it and to keep those spirits trapped.
Absolutely. 100%.
There was it's an elder care facility. It's off Forsyth Park down in Savannah, Georgia, which is it was the Civil War hospital, then a tuberculosis hospital. Like they got the yellow fever tunnel underneath Forsyth, which they cannot open because the virus is still alive.
Mm-hmm.
When they were doing reconstruction of that, my friend at the time, his mother was dating the guy who was the foreman of the restoration job. So
Wow.
they cracked open a wall and skeletons came out down the chimney.
Wow.
They asked
Wow.
me to go in and do the exorcism. So I did. In the morgue, down in the basement, creepy fucking hotel, like shit straight out of nightmares. Like, dude, do not go into the basement. Like, I did. And that was fine because I set the temple space, because I was able to do a remote purge once I got the fuck out of there. So it's like, I'm not gonna be around when I do the remote purge thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was the biggest experiment of making sure that my remote purging of spaces works. But no, I generally don't find them to be of any help. They'll generally make things worse. They go around and they don't understand what entities are, because they come at it from either their Christianity or they come at it from their Wicca training
or pure science. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Like they don't understand the behavior of entities in relation to people. They can't separate out good stuff from bad stuff.
You know what I say, Bryan? People like you and I and Mistress B, we don't study and pursue the paranormal. We are the paranormal.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Like whatever's weird with us, like can't spit and not hit an entity.
Right.
Like,
Yep.
straight up. Like, yeah. So, Liz, if I can go on a fucking tirade right here, right? oh, girl. Like, there was this Paolo bitch, right? So
Yeah.
I am straight up. If anybody from that community sees me, what my comments are going to be, it's probably going to be bad. So I got to kind of like word it a little bit. But anyway, lady in Paolo, who's no longer alive, was digging up dead children bones
Oh.
from orphanages in Nola and other places, bonding demons to them and sending them after people in her own Munanzo.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh
Her
my
god
gracious.
sister was trying to kill her. I caught one, sent it back, killed them instead. They burned alive in a house fire. So dealing with the dead is dangerous when you fuck around with corrupting of the spirits. So these people, they'll raise the dead children to serve them, to do things with them, for them,
Yes.
elevate them. That's fine. Elevate them.
Yeah.
But not infuse them with extra hate and extra vitriol and extra fear.
Right.
And
Elevate them, but do not pressure them and put them to task for your agenda.
exactly. And that's exactly what this person did. And they suffered the consequence for it.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
And rightly so, justifiably so, yes.
So like, yeah, no, like the dead need to go new bodies.
Yes.
You know, it's like if you walk in a Catholic cemetery, you can feel all the spirits still stuck to their bones because of the Catholic funerary rites.
That's right. That's right.
That's an abomination. Like
yeah, because
the spirits never incarnate. There's no new life. There's no new soul in life because all the people that are Catholic, they're stuck to their fucking bones. They can't take new life.
Yeah.
You know, they don't
Let me tell you a story real quick, Brian. I'm going to make it real quick. I had a very deep, intense dream. I used to work a lot with Loki and Odin and Freya. A lot of people think Freya, oh, she's the goddess of love. No, that bitch is crazy. She is a goddess of death and destruction and decay. So Odin, or Wodanaz, one of his oldest names, he came to me in a dream and he said, Ken Allen. He actually said my middle name, but I'm not going to say it. Ken Allen, you need to go to a Catholic church. Odin, are you serious? Yes. I said, why? He said, because we're going to war. I was like, what the hell are you talking about, bro? Odin's a dick. He's an asshole. But I do respect Odin. And Odin said, we need to go to a Catholic church and take communion. And I'm like, okay, why? And basically, to make a long dream, or what I felt like was a long dream short, he said, what a better way to empower yourself than to consume the reconstituted blood and flesh of a sun god. Yeah. Right?
There's always that.
Yeah. So, wow.
I've noticed that a lot about what you said about Catholic cemeteries, and I didn't realize that was why until literally right now. I'm really sensitive to especially spirits that have passed and negative memories. And me walking into a cemetery, it's like all the lights are on, all the sounds are going, everything is just on high alert, and it makes sense now, and that's insane.
It's the funerary rites. It's the way that those funerary rites are worded to bind the spirits to their bones until the resurrection, until the end time. So they literally cannot pass on. They cannot go into new life. They cannot go into their animal life. They cannot go through the cycle of the soul journey at all anymore when they get stuck because of the Catholic Mass.
Catholic Mass is a type of witchcraft, actually.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah. Like what Paolo does to Catholicism, the Irish Catholics are to Druidry.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So, like, it's Catholicism is the language you use to get in front of the door. But if you can identify Jesus as someone who's suffering just as much as you, and you can identify yourself in that capacity, then you can pull the power of the Son of God in a different kind of way.
But the thing is, there's been so many people who have suffered. You know, the whole cross, the beating, the crown of thorns, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, yeah, it doesn't. Whether you believe in that or not, there's been so many more people who have suffered gravely, far more, 100% more than the Christ figure.
Absolutely. And because of them, we have...
Look at the Holocaust.
Oh, yeah.
They were killing children.
I don't think you should mess with children in any sort of
absolutely not
plane or existence or anything. Their souls are just pure and innocent, and I think that if you mess with children in any capacity, you're going to get what's coming to you tenfold.
Yeah
I agree.
And whether you believe in heaven or hell or purgatory. It doesn't matter. When you harm a child, something will happen to you in the afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope it's. Do you ever watch Little Nicky?
I have
Mm-mm.
the
Pineapple scene?
the pineapple up Hitler's ass.
You can't be serious. It's the bigger one. Shit's shot. Franz
I
first.
really hope that that's happening. I really hope that there's a pineapple getting shoved up Hitler's ass every 15 minutes. You know,
That would be amazing. That would be amazing.
with
just
with
because
coffee grounds for lubrication.
yeah.
Oh,
Right?
jeez.
Oh my god. I fucking hate Nazis, man. Fucking
I
hate
do too. I do too. Yeah.
Yeah, they've ruined some. I'm amazed. They just fucking ruined it. But yeah, no, like yeah, it's interesting shit. It really is.
Bryan, you have been amazing, bro. You have been absolutely amazing. I totally want you to come on again. Would you agree to that?
Oh, absolutely. Like whenever.
You are the bomb diggity off the hook, as we used to say in the 90s, off the hook.
I appreciate that very
I
much.
used to do commercial radio in the 90s, and I would introduce this song, by so and so, and be like, it's all new Hall Hits Wild 106, the new music revolution. I'm not going to say my DJ name, and I'll be like, this song is off the hook,
That's awesome.
but
That's
you are off the hook, bro.
I appreciate you, man.
So really quickly, I just wanted to show everybody, this is the book that you're looking for. It's available on Amazon right now. Paperback is $40, but the Kindle price is $6. So you can get it online for $6. And from what we've heard today, there is a gaggle of things in there, and it's definitely worth doing it. And our lovely guest has been so kind to also share a free book with us. So if you scan this QR code, I'll leave it up, there will be a free ebook for you. And Bryan, will you tell us a little bit more about what's in that ebook?
So yeah, a few years back, I was working with another group of magicians who are all heads of various orders of like Saint Cyprian's, or there's a guy who's the head of a Martinist order. There's like Jason Reed, who's into Taoist magic, like something fierce. Like we came up with the idea of the Academy of Sorcery. So it's a place where you learn magic from people that are in traditions that otherwise can't talk too much about it, but can help get people through the door and into the right department. This book is my application for that. So that way it's how to make a spell. It's how to consider the compression of magic. It's how to get all the ingredients, or what ingredients are for the yin and yang aspect of all the planets, the astrological signs. Like it's the nuts and bolts of the how to make this shit go down. So
Perfect.
The Big Red took me 10 years to write. This would be the one that took me 20 years to write. Because it's like, I believe it was Mark Twain says, if I had more time, I would have written you a shorter letter. It's like that book. Like this is like, you can do some really crazy shit with this thing. And what I teach business owners is how to do the sales model of how they interact with their customers and stuff, using the 4-part framework in here to actually make magic in their business. Like they're casting spells and they're not actually aware that they're doing magic, but that's what they're doing to their customers.
Wow, that's so fun.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It has been an absolute pleasure.
You guys are amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure, Bryan. My God, dude, I have totally enjoyed this. Can I be 100% honest with you?
Sure.
Because being a homosexual male, I don't give a shit what I say.
I don't think that's being a homosexual male. I think that's just being Ken.
That's just being Ken. Okay, Bryan, fuck it. I wasn't sure about you at first. Awkward silence.
Awkward silence. Yes, I am gay.
I wasn't sure about you at first, but dude, oh my God, you're amazing. I love you so much. I can't wait to have you back on again, and we will. I promise we will have you back on again. So our last show will be in January. Then we will start season 2 of The Wizard's Table, and we're going to have you on again. Okay, bro?
Thank you so much, my friend.
You are amazing. You are so knowledgeable. I'm extremely impressed.
Absolutely. I am
extremely impressed. And not to be an egotistical dickhead, but when you impress me, holy shit.
That means a lot. Ken knows
Thank you.
way too much for his own good. So for you to acknowledge Ken means a whole
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, dude, you know a lot more than I do, and I am so fucking impressed, bro. You are coming back on this show, bro.
I appreciate you so much, my friends. Thank you so much. And to all the people that are watching, hi.
So, Bryan, I bow to you. I thank you. Nothing but love, baby.
Love it, guys. You be safe.
All right. Have a nice night, everybody. We will see you next time on the Wizard's Table.